Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about the new region, Septimont. Because Hoyoverse, oh my goodness, I've too much ZZZ and Genshin over the past few days, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies, I committed a grave sin. Kuro Games has come out with a new region preview, and boy, oh boy, is there a lot for us to look at. So let's go ahead, let's give it a bit of a look. Of course, we've got some great visuals accompanying this as well. All for glory, fear no death. Like Raguna, Septimont is a city-state of Renacita, in case you were wondering if it was a new region as a whole. Though its people revere, not divinity, but heroes of flesh and blood. Famed for its gladiators, this city of glory is hosting the Great Aegon, a grand championship held once every 4 years. So yeah, lots of lore drops throughout this thing, and we know that there's a big separation from the Order, which was, you know, a very big religious sort of presence at the start of the 2.0 patch, so I'm glad we get to see the other side of Renacita. Very, very, very variable region. So, area events. The ever-glorious Summit, an area exploration event. The streets of Septimont are teeming with life. Travelers from near and far have gathered in their finest for the Great Aegon. Go explore Septimont in this time of celebration, taste the bitterness of defeat and joy of triumph in the competition, blah, 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 right? Rewards for this one are actually looking quite nice. We got 500 Astrite, premium resonance potions, all of the experience mats, and the important one, especially with 2 new characters coming out, forgery premium supplies. Yeah, these rewards at a baseline look pretty solid to me. 500 for an exploration event, where I'm imagining you're just gonna do whatever you were planning on doing in the new region anyways. Pretty solid, pretty nice. Next up, we have the Septimont Travel Atlas, and this one is gonna give tuners and 300 Astrite. I'm just assuming with the 300 Astrite requirement over here, it's not going to be that high scope of an event. Probably one where you're just gonna like unlock a resonance waypoint or something like that and be able to claim like 50 of them. Probably a lot of small tasks, and it's nice to see that we're getting some tuners as well, because there are going to be a lot of new echoes and 2 new echo sets. The one for Cartithia and then the one for Lupa coming out as well. Next up, uncovering the past heroes, a photo collection event. And we all know how these typically work. You just go around to specific areas, you take a photo, you get a little bit of story rewards, and some, let's just be honest here, not too impressive rewards. 180 Astrite, purple experience mats, and some shell credits. This is something you're naturally going to be doing as you complete your exploration once again, and so you can kind of just view it as like the cherry on top, a nice little bonus after doing all of this stuff. Not too crazy, but at the end of the day, it is, at this point, basically a leisure event, due to how low scope those are. Now, we got Chapter 2, Act 5, Shadow of Glory, and we're going to be reading a little bit over here, because it's going to give us a bit of a preview of some of the main story shenanigans that Rover will be getting themselves involved with. Cartithia vanished in the inverted tower, following the traces she left behind. So after following the traces, you arrive in Septimont, one of Renacita's city-states steeped in glory and fades for its gladiatorial tradition. The city is hosting the Great Aegon, we all know about that, yet beneath the grandeur, shadows stir, dark tide. Multiple factions move in secret, each with their own hidden agenda, and to uncover the truth, you form a temporary alliance with contender Lupa. Together, you set your sights on the championship. And so I thought that they were going to be concluding a lot of like the story with like the Order, Fenrico, all of that stuff in the middle of this 2.4 quest, but it looks like we're immediately getting into the whole Aegon thing, Lupa, Cartithia, all of that stuff. And so once that chapter is concluded, which is going to be, this is going to be the first main story quest we have available, there's going to be a second one. And that one is going to be Chapter 2, Act 6, Flames of Heart. You and Lupa follow the Lioness of Glory to the burial ground of heroes and into a world of growing uncertainty. At the same time, you start to wonder if Lupa, your companion on this journey, is friend or foe. I feel like maybe they shouldn't have put this one in here. I feel like I just got spoiled, even though I'm not really sure what I got spoiled about. Cheers sound distorted. Fate has been woven. You have a choice to make, and your choice will determine how the story ends. That's a little bit spicy. And as you can see, this one is going to be available on the 3rd of July. So quite a bit after the patch actually drops, about a month. And boy, oh boy, I'm not sure if we're actually going to be able to make an individual choice as players, kind of like those branching paths. That doesn't really seem like something that ever happens in gachas, but maybe we actually will. So yeah, a lot of teasing going on over here. Quite a bit of an excitement. Now let's get into the new locations. And I think this is really where we've gotten a lot of exposure and a lot of excitement coming up for this update. We got Titan Bone Expanse. This is kind of like the one that gives me the Elden Ring vibes. If you've ever been to Alto Plateau way back in the day when Elden Ring released a couple of years ago, this should probably be giving you some decent callbacks. Maybe a little bit of Limgrave too. Kind of like that starter region from Elden Ring. And so, yeah, it's giving me very, very similar vibes, similar aesthetics, and it's kind of fitting that this is exactly where Septimont is located. And this is probably going to be that first initial zone that you're going to have. Next, we have the Mournfell Canyon. And I feel like we didn't see a lot of this one in the preview. This to me looks like an absolutely desolate looking... This reminds me of like those dragon wastelands, either in Dark Souls 3 or in Elden Ring, kind of like where you find like Malekith, the Black Blade. And yeah, the design over here looks absolutely fantastic. I'm imagining that there's going to be some pretty hideous echoes, like all of those like pilgrim shells, all those devotees' fleshes sort of laying around over here. And boy, oh boy, are those going to be exciting to fight. And to me, the exploration over here looks like it's really going to interact a lot with flight, seeing how many pillars there are. Yeah, this place might be one that's destroyed by the Dark Tide in the past, and we'll probably get some big lore exposures over here from getting all of that sorted out. Next up, we're gonna have the Border Mountains. And this location over here looks, I'm gonna be honest, it looks almost exactly the same as the Titanborn Expanse. I'm not sure if it even needed its own different label. It kind of just looks straight up like the second part of the Titanborn Expanse area. And so, yeah, maybe there's going to be some interesting stuff going on over here, but it just looks like an adjacent zone. So, nope, not too many comments about that. Next up, we have the Ashen Dragon's Crypt, and this probably has to be one of the coolest looking zones for sure. It's kind of got like those bioluminescent night glowing up during the night sort of plants over here. And of course, the corpse of a gigantic fucking dragon. And I hope that the world quests, like kind of like the world story quests, really dive into like the background of these different areas, give us a lot more exposure to how they got this way, maybe a little bit of a background on like the Dragon of Dirge. I would love to see if this is like related to, you know, all of that past stuff that has been occurring in Renacida as a whole, because we know one thing for certain is that dragons and dragon TDs, dragon echoes, right? They are a very, very big focus in 2.0. They've been referenced a lot in many quests, and now we have a whole goddamn graveyard for one of the biggest ones probably we've ever seen in the lore. Next, we have the Capitoline Foothills, and this right here looks like it's quite possibly just in the middle of Septimont. And so what I'm assuming with this is that maybe part of the city is actually going to be like a combat zone. That to me would actually be quite cool, because as we all know, the main Septimont city is absolutely massive. And to have like the outer wall of it actually be an area where you like fight, you know, loot TDs, do all of that stuff, maybe like fight like some actual gladiator NPCs would be kind of interesting, especially knowing like how close it is to the actual like residential like commerce area and stuff like that. Would be a nice little twist. I'm assuming the fact that it's listed out separately, that might be what's actually going on. So those are going to be the new areas. Some of my thoughts on those. I think they're quite exciting. Now let's get into Banners Never Fall. And I do believe this is going to be the permanent combat event that is going to be based around, well, the city. And so I think the take that I had before about part of the city being a combat zone is pretty much confirmed with the fact that this combat event is taking place in the middle of the fucking city. So yeah, draining of floodwaters in the old district has revealed a large number of tacit discords. The gladiators of Septimont have now launched a competition to fight them. So yeah, there you go. You're going to search for and defeat tacit discords or occupy banners of conquest to increase your glory level and gain buffs based on the glory level. And so we've got things like Valor over here. This is just a sample one. Concerto energy recovers by 10 every second when you're not in battle. Kind of interesting. And I'm imagining that they're going to have even more of them unlocked throughout. And maybe it's, as long as you're in this area, you'll be able to receive the buffs from having all of those glory upgrades active. That could help spice up the exploration a little bit as well. Or maybe it'll only be active in certain other ways. So, tacit discords. that pose greater dangers have higher glory levels, and it might be wise to obtain buffs by raising your glory level first before facing the TDs that have higher level sort of stats. But if you're somebody that's a little bit more sweaty, if you're somebody that's willing to just dodge quite a bit, then maybe you'll be able to take these on a little bit earlier than anticipated without some of the glory buffs that you had expected before. Next up, we're going to be having counterattacking, dodge countering, and attacking in combat for battle engagement points. Those are all different mechanics that you'll be able to use to temporarily increase your glory level. And upon taking damage, only glory levels added by battle engagement points will be lowered. So it seems like the more glory levels you have, the more damage you do. You can passively gain them by clearing the map and getting all those upgrades, or you can just build them up temporarily in combat by doing things like parrying, dodge countering, or just hitting enemies as a whole. So this to me really looks like adjacent upgrade to the Symphony ranks mechanic that we had in some of the prior events. And overall, yeah, if you're gonna play like a sweaty freak and never get hit, it looks like that's gonna be one way to achieve and actually clear all this content maybe a little bit earlier on than you might have been able to. So we got like a casual way of doing it, just going for 100% completion. Then we got the sweaty way of doing it by, you know, playing dungeon and never getting hit. So a lot of opportunities to complete it. Nice to see that they're offering all these different ways to actually enjoy the game. Next up, we're gonna have Heroes Slash, and I do believe this is just an exploration mechanic. And so we get to transform into an absolute Giga Chad, and then I guess do horizontal and vertical slashes to be able to complete various challenges across the map. This is pretty neat. This is pretty cool. I like the visual effects, and this doesn't look like the most crazy game warping mechanic ever, but I mean, it looks pretty fucking cool. But yeah, it's like Fruit Ninja, a little bit. So yeah, they're gonna have Heroes Slash and then also Heroes Rend. And this over here, okay, Virgil. So yeah, you're gonna gather recollections of heroes to charge the hero's legacy armor, and then use the Heroes Rend to destroy nearby That's fucking crazy. What? Did he just judgment cut furniture? Okay. I mean, that's pretty badass if I'm frankly being honest. I wonder if that Echo is gonna be summonable in combat, because he's kind of cool. Like, I want to be able to use that in a fight. Not just to, like, fight inanimate objects. I want to be able to use that against, like, in the Tower of Adversity. Bro, come on. Okay, they're just teasing us at this point. Surely he's not going to just be used for the environment. That's cool. Next up, we're going to have the Underground Flight Challenge. Okay, looks like we're going to be on railroads. Looks like Septimont has, like, a railroad system. And so you're just going to glide on the rails. They never even showed this in the live stream. Glide on the rails, alternate between them to make sure that you're picking up all the little point things, and then kind of like going from there. A bit of like some platformer gameplay. I mean, it looks like it's pretty fast. It's pretty fun. I'm maybe not going to be like the #1 biggest fan of this, but I mean, it looks like it's not going to be anything too crazy. Pretty low effort. Hopefully there's some decent rewards. And now the last part, probably the one that some of you in the community are really going to be looking forward to. We're going to have the Thermes Bats. So you're going to be able to invite your friends to join you at this popular recreation facility in the Capitoline Hill. As you can see over here, we got Lupa, we got Cartithia, and Rover all just enjoying a bath together, and it appears that you can peep on them. First-person view of your character, and, you know, I guess enjoy whatever it is you're trying to enjoy. I bet there's going to be a lot of people with Chang Li and Carlotta here on the side, both in their new summer outfits. I'm totally not going to be doing that one. Yeah, that's not something that I'm going to do. So, yeah, you're never going to catch me doing something like that, but I bet a lot of you guys will be doing that. So, overall, I have to say, this region preview has probably been one of the most exciting ones yet. There's a lot of stuff that they decided to tease, and I think that Septimont, based off of the stuff that I'm seeing over here, it looks like they kind of cut out a lot on some of the more annoying exploration tasks that I experienced in Raguna. For example, all of the things that you have to do with, like, Lottie Lost, where you're, like, following, like, a track, or you're doing, like, Lottie Lost, like, big suck, and, like, sucking in a bunch of energy after, like, you know, mangling these fucking pillars and getting them everywhere. I thought that those were kind of, like, the most annoying tasks in Raguna. I personally didn't like doing those. And to see stuff that's, like, a lot more, you know, interactive, a lot more automated, you know, stuff like the Heroes Rend is just freaking cool. And then having something like this where you're actually like moving around and being a lot more dynamic on the map and not necessarily using like a slow ass Lottie lost to complete like half the challenges here, I feel like that's going to be a lot more fun. And so to me, this type of exploration event or exploration task looks a lot better than some of the stuff that we had in Raguna. And of course, right, it's a different region as a whole, and so being able to do different stuff is pretty nice. And I really like how there's a lot of exploration built around breaking things. Which is, you know, kind of what you would expect in like the combat and the gladiatorial region. So yeah, that will be that. Let me know what you all think about this one. I think it's very, very, very exciting, and peace out.